Hello everybody, welcome to another RostyMaths video and welcome back to our Year 7 series on number. If you have been following the series from the beginning so far, well done and thank you for watching. I hope you've been learning something new and that's what keeps bringing you back here. If you are new to this channel, then welcome to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe below. Also, all the highlighted stuff here are the stuff that we've done in a specific order. I do it in a particular order so that it helps you as you move to a new topic. You've only got one new thing to learn. You don't have to relearn everything that you needed before. So it might be a good idea to check the link up there and go to the playlist so that you can see all of the videos in the order that I have done them. If you just come in to catch up on a particular topic, welcome. Let's see what you can do. All right, today we're going into equivalent fractions. All right, so let's just go into it without any further ado. Before we continue, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you will know as soon as a new video has landed. Okay, equivalent fractions. Now my screen is blank. What's going on? There's nothing on there. Well, that is for a reason. Now, I touched on equivalent fraction in its simplest form in my last video. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest that you click on the pop-out banner up there and go and have a look at the video I have done on the introduction to fractions. But for now, let's jump straight into equivalent fractions and what is it? Well, let's start first of all by getting a circle going. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up my circle into quarters like so. And then I'm going to do another circle. Actually, let me copy this one, copy and paste this one here. So I get the same shape again. And then I'm going to cut this one up again into 8s like that. So imagine that I've got like, oh, that is proper dodgy. Sorry. So imagine that I've got a couple of pizzas there and I've chosen how I want to cut it up. So I want to cut it up into quarters, one pizza, and I want to cut this one up into 8s. What are equivalent fractions? Well, equivalent fractions are fractions that are exactly the same. So for example, if I decide that I want to eat a quarter of this pizza, then I'm going to say I will eat here, which is 1 out of 4. Okay, so that's a quarter. But I can also eat the exact same amount of pizza if I eat the bottom one, which is exactly the same as the top one. So I can eat that, but as you can see, that's 2 8s. And the reason why it's 2 8 is because it's 2 out of 8 that's been shared there, that's been eaten. So what I'm saying to you, as you can see, this is exactly the same size as that. So I am saying to you that a quarter is equivalent or exactly the same as 2 8s. Nice. Well, that looks pretty interesting. The numbers might bug you a little bit. It certainly bugs me. So how do we work that out to show that next time I get something like this, I don't then have to go and draw pizzas, because there is a way to work it out without drawing any pizzas. All right, let's go and explore this first one first, and then we go on to the next one. So how do I know that it's the same? Well, let's take this fraction, for example. If I want to simplify it, that's going to be in another video coming up. If I want to simplify this fraction, I can just divide by 2. Or I can multiply this fraction up. So if I multiply by 2, so that's the way I'm going to go on this one. If I multiply the numerator by 2, denominator by 2, then 2 times 1, that gives me 2. And 2 times 4, that gives me 8, which is exactly the same as that fraction there. I can even work it backwards where I've got the 2 8s. And I can simplify it and see if I'm going to get a quarter. And for that one, I'm going to divide by 2 and divide by 2. 2 divided by 2, well, that's 1. And 8 divided by 2, that's 4, which is exactly the same as that fraction there. So that's why they are equivalent, because they're exactly the same. Now, before I was able to work that out, how do I know that I needed to multiply by 2? Or how do I know I needed to divide by 2 here? It's because I am looking at that word of factors. If you don't know what factors are, click on the pop-out banner up there, have a look at my video on factors. But I know that 4 is a factor of 8. If I doubled 4, I would get 8. But whatever I chose to do there, I have to do the same. I have to use the same factor at the top. And it's the same thing down here. I've chosen to divide by 2. But when I chose to divide by 2, I have to do both the numerator and the denominator divided by 2. You can't pick a different number. Okay? All right, let's look at some examples that we can do together then. So what if I've got then 3/8 and I say that that is equal to something over 24? What do I do to work this out? How do I figure out what this missing number is? Well, easy. Think of how many 8s in 24. What's the factor that I multiply 8 by to get 24? Well, that factor is 3. And so if 3 times 8 is 24, I have to also multiply the numerator by 3. 3 times 3 is 9, so the equivalent fraction of 3/8 is 9 over 24. What's that I hear you say? Is it always that? No. I can make loads of other fractions that are equivalent to 3/8, a lot more. Let me show you another couple of examples. What if I then chose, I'm not going to give you missing number this time, this is beneath you, of course. What if I then chose to multiply this by 5? Well, if I multiply by 5, the fraction I'm going to get is 3 times 5, that's 15. 5 times 8, that's 40. So 15/40, it's the same as 3/8. It's also the same as 9 out of 24. Who knew that? Let's muck around with it a little bit more. What if I decided, so if I multiply the top by 8, the bottom by 8, what's going to happen there? Well, if I multiply by 8, 8 times 3 is 24, and 8 times 8 is 64. And just like that, I have made yet another equivalent fraction that is equivalent to 3/8. Okay, and that, guys, brings us to the end of this short video on what equivalent fractions are and how to find them. Few things to remember. The word equivalent means exactly the same. The next thing to remember, find factors that are the same between the two numbers. You can't choose to multiply the top by 7 and the bottom by 8. It has to be the same number. And your resulting fraction is definitely equivalent to your original fraction. And get rid of that thought that there can only be one other fraction that's equivalent to your initial fraction. No, there could be many. I have just shown you 3. There is a lot more, okay? All you got to do is choose a different number to multiply, and just like that, you have made a new equivalent fraction. Okay, if you have learned something new, give this video a like, subscribe below, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new uploads. They do come out pretty often. And just like that, my AirPlay decided to disconnect. Can you imagine that right at the end of the video? Anyway, these are part of the troubles on the RostyMaths channel. Until I see you on the next one.